Hi, so I'm here to talk to you today about your thank you. The thank you that you send to everyone that you interviewed with after an interview situation. Do you need to do this? Yes. I'm here to tell you, you need to send thank yous. That's an unstated expectation, and you need to do it after every interview, at every stage of the interview process. So, let's look at an email. This is a flawed email, and you can tell that already looking at the subject line. It is not capitalized appropriately, and usually you don't say email in an email, so if you're going to say thank you, it's capital T, capital Y, and then you don't have to write email. That's like writing resume at the top of your resume. No one does it. You shouldn't do it. Okay, so let's look at the actual email and where it falls short. So first, this is too casual. Don't do it. Hey Stan is not where we begin. What do we say? Dear Mr. Mars. That's an easy way to begin this, and you use a comma in an email. Thank you for the interview today. That's great. You have the thank you, and then you have a reader orientation with the word today. So you remind him who you are and when he last saw you. So if you're sending a thank you after an interview that took place on Friday and it's Monday, then you would reference the day that you interviewed. Thank you for the opportunity to interview on Friday, right? Or you could say, I appreciated the opportunity to interview on Friday. This is an easy way to phrase this. All of you can do it. It was interesting to learn about company. This is a problem because not only do we have a missing word or words, but we're also missing which company it was. So please be more specific and proofread. I recommend that you go to a sushi restaurant. You will like it! Exclamation point. All right, there's no transition between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Now I think Rob here is attempting to reference something that he and Stan talked about in their conversation. That's fine, but be careful and use a transition. Remember that if Stan has interviewed a lot of people, this is going to seem to come out of nowhere. So even though you remember it clearly, he may not remember it. So, orient him, remind him of why you would say this. Sincerely, Rob. Okay, let's look at a better version. Dear Mr. Mars. Much better. Thank you for the interview today. It was interesting to learn about ALC and the leadership internship. Suddenly, so much better. Now we're going to have a transition to that comment about the sushi. I also appreciated the Cajun lunch and the fact that we're both spice addicts. So here's where you shared something. Because you love seafood and heat, I recommend that you go to a sushi restaurant. You will like it. Suddenly, everything makes more sense, right? Sincerely, Rob. This is a much better version. So what do you need to have in your thank you email? You need to address the person correctly and spell the name right, get the correct email, say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciated the opportunity. I was grateful to be able to. Mention something specific about the job, and then maybe mention something specific about your conversation. You do not have to write a very long email. It should be short. If you have paragraphs, there's a problem. Okay, now let's look at another email. This is a problematic email because someone has interviewed for another job and they now have an internship offer and they are attempting to basically get information about the hiring situation. So, dear Attic, thank you again for the opportunity to interview for the internship. I've had another internship offer. What is your timeline? All the best, Dan the Man Marrow. So this is not the best way to approach that situation. You can send an email, and you should send an email, when you've had another offer that you really want to take and you don't know when your first company is going to give you the information you need. But this is somewhat flawed, so how do you approach the situation? Dear Ms. Meyerson, here's Priyanka Patel. I made this up. I just like the P's, so I have a Priyanka P. Patel. I like the name Priyanka. So I made this all up, but here's a better version of the same situation. Thank you again for the opportunity to interview for the Leadership Development Internship Program. I am excited about Debney Foster, but have recently been offered an internship with JTU. They have given me 5 days to make a decision. Okay, so now I want to remind you that you do not tell another company that you've gotten an offer if you have not actually gotten an offer. So be ethical. But how do you handle this? You tell them, I've been offered this opportunity, here's my timeline. I'm excited about the position at Debney Foster and think that I could excel in the Leadership Development Program, but the position at JTU offers some great experience in the field. Is it possible for Debney Foster to finalize offers within the 5-day timeline? Okay, so now you're just asking for their timeline, and note how the subject line is internship timeline. That makes sense. So you could talk about the timeline, you could talk about next steps, you could talk about when you would hear, and just ask them that, do you know when offers will be made? All the best, Priyanka P. Patel. See, I like the P's and I like the Priyanka. Okay, so does that give you a sense of how you navigate this? You've thanked again, because you already thanked once after the interview. You've told them the situation. You've told them that you still are really excited about the opportunity, and that this other offer, though, is compelling, and you ask for a little more information, so that you can make the decision in time and treat the other company ethically. Okay, now here is a big problem that many students encounter. At some point, they will be tardy. They will show up late to an interview. Maybe they got lost, maybe something else happened. So, apology for tardiness. SAP Technical Consultant job interview at 11 a.m. That's a little bit long, but here's our apology. Dear Mr. Shu, my deepest apologies for being late for the interview today. An accident on my way to the interview caused a traffic jam. The drive should have taken 10 minutes, but it took 45 minutes. I'd put my phone in my suit's jacket pocket in the back seat and had no ability to pull up my contacts to contact you. I will never make this mistake again. I would appreciate the opportunity to interview again. I'm president of the SAP Users Group here at UT Dallas, and I've had 6 years of experience with SAP in designing SQL databases in my position with nomenclature. I believe that I could become a useful contributor to the team very quickly. Your time is valuable, and I promise not to waste it if you allow me another opportunity to interview for this job. I look forward to hearing from you. All right. Best regards. So these are made up names, but this is a situation that has happened to a couple of my students, so I base this on that situation and how well my students responded to it. Both of them were very ethical, thoughtful people. They were horrified that they had done this, and the actual situation is derived from one of their cases, and then the email structure is derived from the other ones. So what happens here? First, you apologize. You explain, not in great detail, but in a small amount of detail, the circumstances and how you made an error that you're not going to make again, much like an employee would explain. Here's why this happened. You ask for a favor if you're going to ask to interview again. Sometimes you will just apologize. And then here's some detail that supports why this person thinks that they would be a good person to interview again. President of the SAP Users Group, 6 years of experience, had a position doing this, could become a good contributor quickly. So these are reader-based interests, so it's appealing to that reader and what they need. Your time is valuable. This is a compliment, and this it shows deep respect, and it recognizes that the other person has had their time wasted. You would not do that routinely. You take this seriously. I promise not to waste it if you will allow me another opportunity to interview for this job. I look forward to hearing from you. So this kind of gives you some sense of what to do when you mess up. I hope that these examples have helped you. I want you to be successful, and part of business communication is learning kind of how to think about the situation so that you can take action and communicate the way you need to communicate. I wish you all the best and hope that you have a wonderful interview situation. You get the job that you want or jobs that you want, and everything works out. But if it doesn't, if you have some bad moments, remember everyone has them. And much like dating, it only takes one, so you can go on a lot of interviews, and it just takes one to work out to have your career move in that direction. So keep going. You can do it. Bye.